Hi crafty peeps. Julie asked me to record a quick video on the differences and whatnot of the different dies. And I'm going to go over that real quick with you, also with the big kicks. There's a couple different dies on the market, starting with the original Sizzix types dies. Those are the standard. They go all the way up to the Tim Holtz alterations, which are the little bit bigger, the bigs dies, and then they go up to really big, huge dies. That's Sizzix. There's other companies. AccuCuts has dies like that as well. There's also these, which are the Spellbinders. These are the Nestabilities, and the Nestabilities are a die that actually fits within itself, all the way down to its smallest piece. And then in the Spellbinders line as well, there's also the shape abilities, and those are the different shapes and whatnot. This is the one that actually goes with my poinsettia stamp collection. And then another company is Sizzix. Sizzix, not another company. I'm silly. They make Sizzlets, which is the thin wafer dies that they have. There's a difference between Thinlets and Spellbinders. I'll show you that in just a second. And then there's the wafer dies, which are Quick Cuts, and I think there's one other company that makes the wafer dies. I'm not sure. But Quick Cuts is the bigger one. And then there's Memory Box and I don't know what other names that they have, but this is another one of them. Yeah, Memory Box. And then a whole bunch of other companies that are now coming out with their version of the dies as well. Okay, so the big kicks from Sizzix will work with all of the different types of dies. There are a couple things that you need. The original big kicks came with a multi-purpose platform. Multi-purpose platform had 2 tabs and then a base. The new multi-purpose platform only comes with 1 tab, and you need an adapter if you're going to cut the wafer thins or the Spellbinders or Thinlets. Another option that you have, it also came with cutting plates. Another option that you have now is Sizzix's new magnetic platform, and that comes with itself. And you use the plates that you had to go with that. My plates are pretty toasted, but they still work. Okay, so first things first. Just to show you the basic difference between the Sizzix and the Spellbinders. You can see it a little bit here on the Spellbinders. You see where the cutting edge is. On the Spellbinders, it's in the middle. And the reason why is because Spellbinders designed their dies that when they're used, this edge on the inside will emboss into the paper. And that gives you that multi-dimensional look. And that was Spellbinders, one of their things that they did for that. Sizzix is the opposite. Sizzix wanted their cut to be right on that line. So what you see as the frame on the inside, that is where it's going to cut. Sizzix did that for a reason, because there's a lot of coordinating die sets, or not die sets, stamp sets that go with their dies now, and they wanted you to be able to have, when you stamp an image, to actually see where you're going to cut. And that was one of Stephanie Bernard's features as well with her sets. This is one of hers. Okay. All of them on the wafer thins use the same combination. You can use the magnetic platform and the acrylics, or you can use the multi with both tabs down. If you don't have the second tab, you have to have the other shim and the other adapter. Do not cut with Sizzix and Spellbinders at the same time. You will ruin your dies, because they're not the same. They're a little bit different. One pass. And there's the Spellbinders. And you can see a little bit. It will emboss just a little bit. But in order to get that true embossed look to it, I need to use the rubber embossing mat. and a combination of that. Oops, let me get it all set up. And then the multi-function platform comes into play because you have to take this other tab off. And for some reason my shim that I have for this is missing currently. I don't know where it is. I have a shim because my rollers don't work perfectly well. Where did it go? Huh, I don't know where it went. That's odd. My rollers don't work perfectly well with this combination, so I typically have to use a shim of, it's just basically taking a piece of chipboard and running it through along with oh my goodness gracious, Charlie. There's other ways to get the same look. It doesn't take much to use something as a shim with these products, so don't overdo it. You can see a little bit of that embossed look there. Okay, so that's how you do that. Dun, 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 dun. Again, the Sizzix is the same thing. Most all of these materials can be doubled up. You can cut 2 sheets of paper, 3 sheets of paper sometimes, depending on which of the dies you're using. You don't want to go too thick with the Thinlits or the Spellbinders because you can actually ruin your die. And also be careful when you're doing it because the when you're putting your dies through, don't stack them on top of each other, because if you do, I actually ruined a Spellbinders doing that. So be careful. Same thing with the thin wafer dies. Oops, I don't want to use that one. Just put it on there. Sometimes with the wafer dies you need a shim, sometimes you don't. It depends on the foam that you have on there and how thick of a material that you're cutting. However, I do recommend that you run it through twice. I just kind of go backwards and forwards. And that'll make sure that your images pop really nicely and come cleanly out of the paper, especially if you're using Bazils. Basil with the thin wafer dies doesn't like to cut very well all the time, so just make sure you do like one or two passes. And then you get your images. Okay? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing right now. Again, the difference between the companies is the positioning of the blades, where they're cutting versus what you're seeing. Spellbinders, like I said, has that little extra embossing feature to them. However, Sizzix Thinlits now have coordinating stamp sets that go with them, especially the Stephanie Bernard line. Those are awesome. Spellbinders has the flower line, Heartfelt Creations, I think, that they work with too, that they do a lot of their stuff with. And then Quick Cuts is coming back. We Are Memory Keepers bought their line, so their dies are coming back with them. So they're making a little bit of a comeback, which is kind of cool because I liked some of their stuff. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed, and I don't think that there is. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them. Otherwise, thanks for watching and have a good day.